Hello everybody, there are currently 15 days until Artfight begins, and I'm almost done with my prep. This video is going to be a little different for the background because, as you can see, I'm not doing art. I was considering starting another comic to, put art in the background, but I really need to finish writing all this lore, so that's what you're seeing in the background. Sorry it's not really as, interesting as the art, I suppose, but that's besides the point. What I need to do still is up on the screen now. I will overlay it, and let's get right into the video. I'm kind of running out of things to talk about. Next video will be why you should attack me, and I figured that should come out right before Artfight starts, or well, it'll be like 8 days before Artfight starts whenever that comes out. So, I was trying to come up with a topic for this video, and I think I'm going to talk about what it's been like, the prep for Artfight, because I've been prepping since March, maybe a little bit like January, February, March, April, maybe May. I always get those two confused. I've been prepping since April. Sorry, that took a while to figure out because I remember whenever I was making my first things. But I started prep in April. Last year I started prep on June 26th, which wasn't that bad because really I had just started art, so I just scrambled out, 8 refs. They didn't look very good, but I did end up finishing them. So, I guess props to me. I uploaded the last one at like 3 a.m. on the morning, I guess, of July 1st. This year, since I knew about the event in advance, I had a lot more time. So, my Artfight prep started with me making animated profiles for all of my characters. I made Sunheart's first because I wanted to test it out, and his doesn't look very good. His face is kind of moving everywhere, but it was like my first animation that I had ever really made, and it's also whenever I realized that pixels are much easier to animate with, as in like pixel art, than my regular style. And now with my revenge preference form, I'm going to have people able to pick pixel art as a preference in the attacks that they receive from me. After Sunhearts, I made Icehawks. His eyes are a little bit off, but it's fine. And then all of the other ones I made pretty easily. I think the hardest one was Candles, but my favorite is Axel's because it's more of like a full body kind of, and it's her sleeping, and she opens one of her eyes and then closes it again, and that's kind of the animation loop that I have there. So those were my first bit of prep. As I was trying to finish those out, I started attack animations. Now, when I say attack, I don't mean like Artfight attacks. I mean an animation showcasing how my character like uses its magic and attacks with its magic. I finished the lightning leaps first, and they took me a pretty long time, and they were also one of the first things that I was doing whenever I started these videos, because I think I still had like 7 left when I started the videos, but I wanted to get the profile animations for my characters done before I finished all of those. So I don't think those actually made it into the video process. The attack animations did, the profile character animations didn't. By the end of those character attack animations, I was so done with actually drawing them. The last one that I did was Axel's, or was it Sunheart? I don't know. It was one of those two. They don't look, they look kind of bad, but they don't even look horrible for what they are. They're not supposed to be like complicated or anything. I forgot how I drew lightning leaps and then drew all of the other ones different. So lightning leaps, like, mannequin or dummy that he's attacking is lineless, and like all the fluff that comes out of it is also lineless, and all of the other ones have lines. So whoopsie daisy. That's why you should always reference your own art when making things like this. The first thing that I actually did for the videos was the art that is the YouTube thumbnail, which you can't even actually see unless you click on my my YouTube profile, because I don't know how to format the videos correctly. I even watched a YouTube video to try and fix it, and I looked it up. I just cannot figure it out. So hopefully for next year, if I decide to do this again, I'll have figured out how to move it into landscape, which I do have it cropped to 16:9 or 9:16, whichever one it is, the one that is the correct format for YouTube videos, but it just will not go, and I just don't understand. But whatever, it's fine. And I continue to update the YouTube art, thumbnail art, every single week with a new number down in the bottom right corner. At the end of this, I'll add them all to a playlist in order, just so these videos are mostly for myself. I don't really expect anybody to see them. They're all unscripted, if you can't tell. Stripes, my cat's in the background. So they're really just to document my own process, and maybe if I make more of these videos, I can come back and see how I've improved during my Artfight prep process. I like to make lists, and I also wanted to show myself how I finish that list over time. But anyway, I did some other things, like I did my profile picture for Artfight, just like in general, which is my best animation so far. Throughout my prep process, I've also done like other art, like I've done multiple art trades, and I gifted one of my friends some art. I made an animation for him and some like regular art, which I'm actually using as an art example in my revenge preference form. I would be like, I need to finish my prep, I need to finish this lore, I need to finish these refs, and then I'd start an art trade because I wanted art of my characters. Sometime of like 2 weeks ago, I won a raffle and got a character that I've named Macarena, and she's like a hamster, she's yellow, and I did an art trade for that, and I also made multiple like drawings of her because I liked her and I wanted to make art of her. I plan to make art of her, like more art of her, after I'm finished with Artfight, and I want to work her into my lore somehow because she is like an anthro animal, like a furry kind of, but I want to like make her kind of like a ground rider, because she has, if you aren't aware, which you aren't, but my ground riders have like their faces is kind of like a bull terrier, and that's kind of what she looks like, or at least what I've made her look like. And I'm thinking that she could be a ground rider because the ground riders also, their color is based on the environment around them, and so I can just make it like she was born by some yellow crystals. But all of that is to come after Artfight, because I really just want to focus on my Artfight art. I also have more art that I need to do before Artfight starts that I haven't mentioned on my list. I want to make at least one more comic, because I'm going to make a TikTok video that's like, do you want art like this? And then I want to have like two comics up, and like 2 animations, and then some regular art that I've made. And then I want to make some art of 2 of my characters interacting that isn't a comic. And I'm hoping that I can draw people in and have them attack me. Yeah. The hardest part about prepping has definitely been the lore writing. I don't even really hate writing, it's just sitting down and doing it for like an extended period of time is kind of hard for me. I used to write a lot back in the day, but especially since like so much of my character's lore actually isn't written yet. Like, I haven't made it. And, like, they live to, like, 20... I think the oldest one gets to, like, 26,000 years old, which would be Sunheart, before he dies. So, obviously... And I made it like that because I, like, the way that the Skyriders operate. They're supposed to have, like, very, very long battles. Like, they take their time on stuff in general. And so I have, like, a lot more fights to write. I also wanted to, you know, give them time to have all of these conflicts, plus the political side, because they end up becoming kings. And they all have to run the country together. So I haven't written a lot of that out yet. I plan to, because after Artfight I also want to start a comic. So that will be interesting. Let's see, what else have I had to do? Oh yeah, refs. I start my refs in June, and little spoiler here, but it doesn't really matter. I finished my refs on like the 13th, which was like 3 days ago as I'm talking about this. My refs don't take me long at all. I made my own base for my refs so that I can just, like, you know, copy the same thing over and over again, because that was one issue that I had last year. I did something different for every single one. But yeah. And so refs aren't really hard for me, and I get surprised, you know, when people are like, I've been making my refs since February and I'm still not done. I understand, like, if you have a lot of characters, but I don't know, it's just kind of interesting for me to see, like, people with, like, 6 refs total to do, and then they've been doing it since, like, January and still aren't finished. I'm not, like, putting them down or anything. I don't really care. If I don't know. It's hard to tell, like, if I'm a fast artist or not. Like, I tend to do things pretty quickly, I think. I consider myself fast at art, but I don't know if other people would consider me fast at art. Like, a fully rendered, like, piece of art can take me, like, an hour and a half. I've done it before. I plan to be very quick for Artfight. Like, but I still want to make good attacks. Like, those headshot animations only take me, like, 30 to 40 minutes based on, character complexity. So, I don't know, but, I wish that there was some, like, scale where it was like, if you finish this art in this amount of time, you're a fast artist. I guess I could just ask for, like, opinions of people, because I'm in, like, multiple art Discord servers, and I could be like, do you think I'm a fast artist? I finished this in this amount of time, you know. But, I don't know. I consider myself a fast artist. I think, I'm only not fast whenever I'm actually just not doing the art. Like, those character animations, for example, took so long because I just didn't want to start them. But after I started them, they were pretty quick. On the same line of thinking, when is somebody considered not a beginner artist? Because I only started drawing, like, not even a year ago. It's coming up on a year. I mean, it's hard to say that I just started drawing a year ago, because I've been drawing, I'm doing the quotes in the air, but you can't see me, my entire life. I've always had an interest in drawing, but I've never really drawn seriously. Like, I would try to start sketchbooks or, like, draw every single day, and it never worked out for me. I never, like, had the motivation to do those things and keep up with it for, you know, multiple days in a row. But now, like, that I've had Artfight, I do draw every single day. And, like, it's not hard for me to draw every single day. I don't really get burnt out unless, like, well, no, I don't really get burnt out. Even after Artfight last year, where I made 100 attacks, I only stopped drawing for, like, 2 days. And it was very hard for me to make those 100 attacks last year. But I don't really get art block. I don't really get burnt out. if I don't know, like, sometimes I won't know what to do, and then I'll spin a wheel of, like, which of my 8 characters I want to draw, and, you know, I'll do that 2 or 3 times, and then I will do a comic. And the reason why I said earlier that I still need to make a comic is because usually I do these traditionally, but I don't want to, like, upload the traditional art onto TikTok because generally TikTok algorithms don't really enjoy traditional art unless it's, like, hyper good, and mine is not. The pencil drawing might also be too light for people to see. I know I could go over it in pen, but honestly, I don't feel like it. And I like making more comics anyway. Hello, Stripes. He's now laying on me. I apologize if you can hear him purring at any point. He has just started purring. But, yeah, I need to, so I'll just do that. And another thing is, like, a lot of the art that I make is centered specifically around Artfight. Like, I'd be making art in, like, August, and then I'd think, like, oh, I'm practicing for Artfight. I just really like Artfight, I guess, and that's kind of what keeps me motivated. I believe I've talked about that in a previous video, but, yeah. So, I'm very lucky. I don't get art block, I don't get burnout, or at least I haven't up to this point. Maybe this Artfight will finally do it to me, and I'll stop drawing for a month. We'll have to see. I don't know. But, yeah. I just went off on a tangent. When am I not considered a beginner artist? Because, as I said, in case you've forgotten, because that was a very long tangent, I only started drawing seriously a year ago. And I don't really know if I should consider myself a beginner artist or not. I don't really know if I should consider my art good. I mean, I like the art that I make, especially the animations. And, like, I do enjoy the art that I make. But I don't know if I could still be considered a beginner artist. I don't really want to be. Like, I don't want to come across as if I want to be a beginner artist for any reason. It doesn't really matter to me much. I don't think I'm a beginner artist. I think my art is good enough to not be considered a beginner artist, but at the same time, like, what makes you a beginner artist? Is it that your art, is it the skill that you have, or is it the time that you've been doing art? Because, like, I know, like, some people have been drawing for 10 years, but, you know, if you don't draw every day, you're not gonna improve as fast as somebody who's been drawing for 5 years and has been drawing every day. So that person who's been drawing for 5 years and has been drawing every single day is probably going to be better skill-wise than the person who has been drawing for 10 years but has only been, like, drawing once every 2 weeks, you know? I'm not claiming I'm better than anybody or anything. I don't, like, art is very subjective. I don't really care. But, you know, I'm just wondering. Maybe I'll ask somebody about that. Yeah, I'll ask my friend about that later, but maybe I'll come back with the response that she gives me next week. So yeah, I guess that's something to look forward to, if nothing else. I also think it would be nice to have friends that are as interested in Artfight as I am, because my friend that I just mentioned also does Artfight, but not to the level that I do it. Like, my goal this year is 50 attacks. I'm doing a mass attack with 50 characters. I'm doing, like, this whole thing with, like, animation and comics. But she just isn't going to participate as much, which there's nothing wrong with that. But I wish that I had a friend or two that I could get on call with and we could make Artfight attacks together and talk about the Artfight attacks that we received. Last year I had that a little bit because I was playing Minecraft with my cousin at the time. We were in a Minecraft phase, and I would talk about Artfight and talk about how it was going, and sometimes even make art, like, on live for him. Yeah. Not for him. I meant, like, so that he could watch whenever he was bored. But now I am alone, unfortunately. So, yeah. Another thing that I've been thinking about is, the attacks that I'm going to plan, like my bookmarks and stuff. I have, not counting the mass attack, because that's going to have 50 characters overall, which will obviously pad up my bookmark amount by quite a bit. I have around 50 bookmarks. I don't really plan to do all of them, because, like, a thing about that, a good portion of them probably aren't even going to choose teams. Like, I looked yesterday, and there were, like, 15 of them, like, just in one folder, which has, like, 30 of them, that have not chosen a team yet. Some of the characters have also been archived. I imagine that that will happen more as the event approaches, and people are finishing their prep. And a lot of those characters I have saved because they're a certain type of character, and if they get archived, I won't attack that person. One of those things that I have saved, like a specific type of character, is clowns. And, you know, just clownish beings in general. And this year is comedy, tragedy, mystery, which I didn't even talk about that. I was right. 3 teams. I called it. I'm a 3 teams believer until the end. I'm sure I said that in a past video. I knew it. I knew it from the start. I wasn't expecting comedy, tragedy, mystery exactly, but I knew that it would be 3 teams. And I'm very happy with the themes this year because my persona is a clown. If you look in my YouTube thumbnails, it's the clown, and if you go into my Artfight, my profile picture is a clown. And now everybody's making clown OCs, and they're, you know, putting, you know, their OCs into, like, clown outfits. And I'm going to be able to draw so many clowns this year. It's going to be so fun. And yeah, so I'm really excited about that. But clown is a big one that I have saved. And so those will be easy to find more of if I wanted to, but also I don't really want to add to my bookmarks because I want to finish my bookmarks. Like, you know, I want to finish my bookmarks. And I don't, like, I'm only suspecting that I'll actually have, like, 25 bookmarks by the time Artfight starts, just because of the amount of people that have not chosen teams. And specifically, I have a lot of showgirl, like 1950 Las Vegas showgirl OCs bookmarked because I like them. And a lot of those people have not chosen teams. Luckily, the person that I plan to attack first and last has chosen a team, I think. So I will be able to attack that character because I plan to attack the same character as my first attack and my last attack, and obviously that's going to be a character that I like. And now, if they archive the character before I get to, you know, the end of Artfight, that's fine. I'll just do, you know, the second character that I attacked, or, you know, the third. It depends on you know, what the deal is, how it plays out. We'll see. But yeah. And the OC that I'm attacking, or that I plan to attack first and last, is a showgirl clown. So it's kind of like my 2 favorite things in one, which I'm very excited about. I have made like 10 posts on TikTok telling people to go sign up for my mass attack, and it has brought, like, every single time I post, I get at least 5 people to sign up for my mass attack. But I know that my mutuals hate me now because I've just posted so much about it. At some point, I post on TikTok pretty often. And at some point, I had 3 mass attack posts in a row. And I was posting them like 4 days apart. So, I know that my mutuals were very displeased with me that week. But, or those, you know, that span of time. Yeah, which, by the way, you should go sign up for that. I believe, I haven't checked it yet. I got quite a few people to sign up today after making a post because we're getting closer and closer to Artfight. And of course, whenever you get closer to Artfight, you will have more people filling out your hit lists and, you know, doing the mass attack signups. Especially the night before Artfight. If I don't end up, like, I believe I still have like 20 something to bookmark, or that I need people to sign up for, I'm not worried in the slightest. Not, like, because people are gonna want to sign up for mass attacks. Everybody, well, not everybody, a lot of people really like mass attacks. For no reason in particular. I think that the kind of awe around mass attacks is having your character in something that, like, a lot of other characters are in, and also the signups are often very hard to get into because so many people sign up for mass attacks usually. Like, I believe last year there were, like, over, like, 300 comments on every single post about a mass attack that I saw. And I'm sure that there were, like, smaller mass attacks that I just didn't get on my For You page, or whenever I looked into the Artfight hashtag, which I do every year. But, like, every single one, there was, like, 300 things. I ended up getting in 2 mass attacks, actually, which I'm very glad for. They were both color wheel themed, which was very big last year. One of them was my character Fire Dancer, who got into a red, oh my god, who got into the red section because his clothes are red, and then Sunheart, who is yellow, and got into a yellow section. Yeah. So, that is why I actually wish that you could see the mass attacks that you were involved in, because if you aren't aware, mass attacks, you can only specifically target one person in them, not every single person. Because I technically have 30 defenses, which is a nice number, but my profile only shows 28 because it doesn't show, like, the mass attacks. If you want to see the mass attacks that you've gotten, you have to go, I believe that there's a menu, but I don't know how to find it. You can also go directly into the character and go to their specific attacks, and then you can look down and find it, as well as the ones that you've, like, put your own character in, as in, like, whenever you draw your own character with somebody else's character. I did that a few times. I'm probably gonna do that less this year. I don't know. Not for any particular reason. I like to draw my dragons with other people's characters, but I don't like how the attack that I make shows up under that character's total attacks. So I'll probably do that a bit less this year. Is that all I want to talk about for the prep? I believe so. Yeah. So I'll get into what I accomplished this week. You have been watching me in the background just write lore the entire time. Well, I don't expect that you actually have been watching it, but in the back, I started in the background on writing for like full lore, and right now this is just character description. So yeah, let's get into what I did this week. I actually don't really have anything to overlay because it's all just writing, other than I guess I could put up the other character refs. I don't really feel like it. I'll put them all up next video. But here is what I did this week. I finished my refs. I worked on more lore writing, as you saw in the background at the beginning of this video. I finished character description organization, which was a big one for me. After this, I will only have one more YouTube video to do. I'm so excited. And let me check the number that I have for my mass attacks. I believe it's 17. I was correct. I have 33 total bookmarked for my mass attack, so I only need 17 more, which is not a lot at all. And that's actually it. It's a lot more than it looks like, because, like, half of these don't really count that much. Like, final cleanups are going to be easy. YouTube video will come out, obviously, whenever I put it out. The only, like, big thing that I need to finish is the lore writing. There's currently a flock of geese flying over my house right now. Anyway, that's it. Like my video, subscribe to me, because that is awesome. And that's pretty much it. Go check out my Artfight, fill out my mass attack hit list. My username is kinda_timid, and I try to revenge back every single time, within reason. If I get too many attacks, I might not be able to revenge them all, but I don't see that happening. So, yeah. I will see you next week for the final YouTube video. Goodbye!